Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat with your books, read the same paragraph 3 times, and still felt like nothing actually went in? Or maybe you spent the whole day studying, but at night you couldn't recall more than a few scattered points. Most of us assume we're bad learners. But the truth is simpler. Most people use learning methods that don't match how the brain actually works. And when the method is wrong, the results feel frustrating, no matter how hard you try. I know this feeling too. There was a time when I'd study for hours, but retained almost nothing. And I genuinely believed something was wrong with me. Turns out it wasn't me. It was the system. So today, I want to share 7 science-backed habits that actually change the way you learn, not in a hypey way, but in a real, measurable, research-supported way. These are techniques used by top students, cognitive scientists, memory researchers, and even elite performers outside academics. If you use even 2 or 3 of these consistently, your learning speed will noticeably increase, not because you worked harder, but because you worked with your brain, not against it. Let's get started. The test yourself first habit. Based on retrieval practice research. Here's something surprising. Most people start learning by reading. But studies show reading is the weakest way to build memory. The stronger method? Trying to recall something before you've even learned it. This is called retrieval practice, and it activates more neural pathways than passive study. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're starting a new chapter on photosynthesis. Instead of reading the chapter first, pause and ask yourself, what do I already know about this topic? Even if your answer is something about plants and sunlight, that's enough. By forcing yourself to retrieve information, even poorly, you make your brain more alert when you do start reading. It's like telling your brain, hey, this topic matters. A 2011 study showed students who tested themselves before learning scored almost 50% higher than students who only read. Practical tip. Start every study session by writing 3 to 4 questions about the topic. Then, after studying, answer those same questions again. 2. The teach it to a child habit. Often called the Feynman technique. One reason people don't learn fast is because they think they understand something until they try explaining it. Explaining forces clarity, and clarity is one of the strongest forms of memory. Personally, this changed everything for me. Whenever I explain a concept out loud, I quickly notice where my understanding breaks. And once you know the gaps, fixing them becomes much easier. Here's the trick. Explain the topic as if you're teaching a 10-year-old. Not because 10-year-olds are less intelligent, but because they don't accept vague explanations. If your explanation sounds confusing, you know you need to tighten it. Practical tip. After every 30 minutes of study, pause and explain the topic out loud in simple language. If it sounds too complicated, simplify it until it flows naturally. 3. The spacing instead of stuffing habit. Spacing affect one of the most famous findings in learning science. Cramming feels productive. Spacing feels slow. But research repeatedly shows spaced repetition leads to longer-lasting memory than cramming ever could. Think of it like exercise. You can't grow stronger by doing 500 push-ups in one day. You grow stronger by doing 20 push-ups every day for a month. Learning works the same way. A small spacing schedule example. Day 1, learn the topic. Day 3, review it. Day 7, review again. Day 14, quick recap. Day 30, final refresh. This simple timeline helps memory move from short-term to long-term storage. And here's the interesting part. Your brain actually likes forgetting a little because the act of relearning strengthens the memory. Practical tip. Build a short, spaced review list for each week. Just 10 minutes per day is enough. 4. The high-intensity 20 minutes habit. Focused, distraction-free micro-sessions. We often assume studying requires long hours. But top students, especially in countries like Japan, often use shorter, more intense sessions. Here's why. Your brain learns faster when you give it full attention, even for just 20 minutes, than when you split your focus for 2 hours. Most people try to study while checking messages, thinking about chores, or switching tabs. This constant switching drains cognitive energy. But a 20-minute full focus cycle can be more effective than an entire hour of distracted study. Try this. Put your phone in another room. Set a 20-minute timer. Study one specific micro-topic, not a whole chapter. After the session, take a 5-minute break. This cycle activates deep focus and forms a habit of intensity instead of duration. I used to study for hours without progress. Switching to shorter bursts made my learning smoother and strangely satisfying. 5. The interleaving instead of streaks habit. Based on interleaved practice research, most people study one type of problem again and again, like doing 20 questions of the same formula. The result? You get good at recognizing patterns, but not at applying knowledge. Interleaving means mixing different problem types during your session. For example, instead of doing 10 geometry problems in a row, you mix 2 geometry, 2 algebra, 2 trigonometry, and loop again. Why does this work? Because your brain has to constantly switch strategies, which builds flexibility, a key skill in real exams. A famous study showed students who interleaved scored almost 30% higher than those who used blocked practice. This technique helped me personally when I was terrible at math. Once I started mixing problem types, I realized my brain became more agile, and exam confidence improved naturally. 6. The sleep on it habit. Memory consolidation during sleep. One of the most underrated learning habits is simply sleep. Not long sleep, just quality sleep. When you sleep, your brain replays information, strengthens neural connections, and clears noise from the day. It's like hitting save on a file. If you study at night and sleep poorly afterward, a big chunk of that learning simply doesn't stick. In fact, research shows reviewing something briefly before sleeping increases retention dramatically. Try this simple routine. Before bed, take 5 minutes to skim something you learned that day. Just skim, don't study deeply. Your brain will handle the rest while you sleep. 7. The small daily questions habit. A metacognitive practice used by effective learners. This habit is simple but powerful. At the end of every study session, ask yourself, what did I learn today? What confused me? What can I improve next time? These tiny self-checks build awareness, and awareness leads to improvement. Most students study on autopilot, but the best learners constantly adjust. A 2014 study showed students who reflect daily improve performance faster than those who don't, sometimes by as much as 1 full grade level. This method has helped me the most. Every time I ask myself these questions, I realize what's actually working and what's wasting time. Let's recap the 7 science-backed habits. Test yourself. First, activate retrieval pathways. Teach it simply clarity equals memory. Use spaced repetition. Little and often beats cramming. Study in intense 20-minute cycles. Focus beats time. Mix problem types. Build flexible understanding. Review before sleep. Let your brain consolidate. Ask reflective questions. Improve through awareness. If you combine even a few of these, your learning will feel lighter, faster, and more natural. If you're someone who feels stuck or slow or easily distracted, just remember, nothing is wrong with you. You simply haven't been taught the methods your brain actually prefers. Start with 1 habit today, not all 7, just 1. Build momentum and let the progress motivate you. And if you want more videos like this, where we break down learning and productivity into simple, practical steps, feel free to subscribe and stick around. We're building a community of people who want to grow a little bit every day. I'll see you in the next one.